Hail heroes! In this video we're going to discuss enemy actions and the enemy phase. For this example we will assume that Cormac has generated the actions displayed in the dice tray to the right of your screen. They've been placed in the corresponding slots on the dashboard on the right hand side. So he has 2 combats, 2 class and 2 enemy actions. That means that in the hero phase you'd have to activate the 2 nearest enemies. There's a Marabao footman in this tile here, and there is a blight rat in this tile here. We'll start by activating the Marabao footman. The Marabao footman is activated using 4 custom dice, and we'll use the blight dice to represent the enemy. And we can see 2 combats, a class and an enemy. It says to move 1 zone per dice, preserving combat results. So he's definitely got the actions to move in to where Cormac is, because it's just 1 zone away. If it reaches the target with a combat to spend, then it attacks, and it uses 2 custom dice to do so. It could use its death charge, which is +1 damage per move made before attacking. If not, it uses jab, but this is only applied when the Marabao footman begins at range 0 to its target, which it does not in this instance. So, it's reached the target with a combat to spend, and so now it attacks using its 2 dice. 2 combats, bad news for Cormac. And with its death charge, meaning that it moved 1 zone before it made the attack, that would be 3 damage, which would come out of his health, because it doesn't specify otherwise. So Cormac would now be down to 5 health. He's cleared 1 enemy action, and he's activated the nearest enemy. Now he has to activate the next nearest enemy, which is the blight rat. At the bottom of the enemy card, which is just out of view, I shall pop it up there so you can see. There is the health of the enemy, the defense of the enemy, the move allowance of the enemy, when it's not designated, as it was in the case of the Marabao footman, by the custom dice that you roll in its behaviour, which is why it has an asterisk in its movement slot. So the blight rat moves 1, so it moves to there. Now Cormac is going to be able to spend the rest of his actions, and he has 2 combat and he has 2 class. So let's assume that he's going to attack, and let's also assume that he does have his regular weaponry, which would be either the long sword or the short sword, but we'll use the long sword in this example. So Cormac will make his first attack using this combat. Cormac also has sword mastery, which means that Triskelions will count as successes. He rolls his dice corresponding to his might, and this is a pretty poor result. He's damaged his sword, and that has happened because he has rolled 3 enemy actions. Even if the sword was a superior quality, he would have just damaged his sword. So that now goes down to 2, and it has 2 durability left, but he's also missed, so he's not wounded his enemy. Now, he'd have another swing at that enemy, hopefully roll a few more combats. He's got just the 1. He hasn't damaged his sword this time, and he's done 4 damage to the Marabao footman, who's got 1 defense, reducing the damage to 3, and 8 health, which means that now the Marabao footman would have 5 health. But combat didn't go as well as Cormac might have hoped. He has got 2 class results, and in this instance he might then move into this tile and then decide to move away from the blight rat, so that he ends up as far away from the Marabao footman as he can be for the enemy phase. In the enemy phase, you'll be activating the enemy that is furthest away from you instead of the nearest. So if this were the enemy phase, the Marabao footman would then activate once more. and you would roll the dice and see that it can once again move and reach Cormac, which is bad news for Cormac as it arrives with 1 combat left, because that would be preserved. It would then roll its 2 dice, and it has done 1 damage plus 2 for each zone it's moved. And so Cormac has had a really hard time in combat this round and is down to 2 health. He's going to want a healing potion as quickly as possible, and hopefully slightly better luck when he goes into the second round against this enemy. Let's see what Cormac generates when he rolls up for the next round. Cormac has 2 combats, 3 interacts and 1 class. Now, that means that the enemy is not going to be activated at all. So, Cormac's going to attack the Marabeo footman. This time he has 3 successes and he adds 3 damage from his longsword, making 6. The Marabeo footman has 1 defense, reducing it to 5, which means Cormac has done exactly enough damage to defeat the Marabeo footman, who is removed from play. Cormac would then collect 1 soul. Souls are a currency in the game, and we'll talk about those in another video. Thanks very much for your time. We hope you've enjoyed this one. Bye now.